Hello YouTubers, this is Condorman Do-It-Yourself Projects. This is going to be on a repair, basically a cleaning, on a Craftsman M260 163 cc's Briggs & Stratton engine, front wheel drive. So the person that I'm working on this mower for, he told me that the mower sat up for about 2 or 3 years roughly, and it just needs cleaned out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through it and see what needs cleaned and see what's good or what's not good, and we'll just go from there and see if we can't clean up this for him. All right, now let's just go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to remove the oil cover, or the filter cover. And you can see it's well dirty, and it's not too bad. It can be blown out and cleaned off. So while I'm cleaning mine with blowing of air, or just brush it off with a brush, is probably what I'm going to do. You can do yours at the same time. So I'm just going to take a regular shop brush like this one. I'm just going to simply clean it, because I think that if I just bang it on the table, or it's not that dirty. It's just got a little bit of little seeds from the yard or whatever in there, and I think that that'll be probably good. So alright, that's pretty good. You can see it's pretty well clean. Didn't really have to do that much to it. Doesn't look like it needs a new one. So we're just going to set that off to the side here. Alright, inside the carburetor, you can see there, let me see if you can blow up a picture here. See all that dirt in there? We need to get all that dirt out. So while you're cleaning yours, I'll clean mine too. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to take the cover off of here. So I'm going to grab my socket sets here. And I think I'm going to sit down for this one, because it'll take a little bit to do so. So, let's see here. I believe this might be, that's what I thought. It is a 7mm. So, I'm just going to simply take my impact here and just take this off here. Take that screw out. Actually, they're little bolts. So take the little bolt out. I'm going to set mine right over here so I don't lose them. Then, the other one is just a little bit bigger. I'm going to guess and say it's probably maybe this size. Let me see what that, oh, perfect. So this is a 9mm. That's a 9mm. So we're just going to take those out. Well, I say that one is not a 9. And neither is that one. Alright, scratch that. That is not a 9mm. Let me see if this one will fit on there a little better. Okay. My mistake. It is an 8mm socket. This is a 7. This is an 8. Take that one out. Just remember, when you put it back, the 8s are on the top and the 7s are on the bottom. Alright, now move the other one right beside it. Alright, now we'll remove this here. On the back, you got this little hose right here. It just pops on there. It's from the valves. It's a little dusty in there. We'll turn it upside down and hit it a little bit with a... I always like to keep old toothbrushes for this reason. So I'll just slightly dust it in here a little bit. Get it a little clean so don't get down in the carburetor when we go to clean it. This one don't look too bad. This is a plastic one, so usually the plastic ones don't get all corroded up like the aluminum or the metal ones do. This has just had a lot of dirt in here. I'm just going to tap on that without trying to kill my thumb here. knock all the dirt out of there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just clean out the majority of the dirt that you can see, which I did on mine. See that right there, nice and clean now. Check this one for fuel. This one's got a little bit of fuel in it. We're gonna have to clean the fuel out of there. So what I'll do here is take my pliers, and I'm going to take this little cup here, this little cup right here, and I'm going to put underneath of here so that the fuel doesn't get all over the mower. So I'm going to take my pliers and take off the clip here. Take your pliers lightly on there and turn it around on the shafts. That breaks the seal there on the piece coming out. Then I'm going to pull that line off of there. Hopefully it'll just pop off for us. Let's see here. Might have to do. Well, we're going to have to take the tank off anyway, so I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and take the tank off. I think it might be a little easier here. I didn't take the top off. I usually take the top off first. This right here. So you just simply take your Phillips screwdriver here. Let me see if I can get a bigger blown up view for you. Oh, here we are. Alright, the top of the mower, we need to take these screws out. They're Phillips screwdriver screws. There's one on each side. You know what? These are not Phillips screws. They appear to be hex heads. Let me look here. Hold on one second. Let me find out. Okay. It turns out that they're a T25 hex bit, which is what this is right here, T25 hex bit. It'll say a T25. I don't know if you can read that on there or not, but it says T25. So I'm going to take my impact here and take those out. One there, one on this side. Get those out. Then I'm just going to simply, okay, now underneath this sticker right here, a lot of people don't know and a lot of videos don't show you, right about here, there's a little hook, a little plastic hook piece that pops into the cover, this metal cover on top. So if you were just simply push back on it, like so, you might be able to reach your hand up here. Let me see if I can reach my hand up in there. No, I don't think you can. Let me see. Let me see if I can reach my hand up in there, and we'll do that for a second. Okay, just to make it a little simpler for you can do. So you put your hands up under here, and you put your hand back here, and you would just simply push with your thumb, push it back and pull up on the back at the same time, and it will release this hook right here. Let me dump my screws out before I lose them here. Alright, we got both of our screws. Hex screws that fell out. Here's your hex screws, I'll show you. Alright, there you go. See, they're hex heads, they're T25s. And that takes out those. So I'm going to put those, I think I'm going to use this instead. Put them down in there. Alright, so here's our cover. This is the cover that you want to clean. Just make sure it's clean. You can use Dawn dish soap. You can clean it in your sink in the house or outside in the shop. Or you could just simply take your brush like so and just clean it out real good. Just as long as it's fairly clean. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your air filter is going to go on here. Now if it's extremely dirty, you're going to want to clean it about like that clean, because you do not want gunk and dirt to be in there. And then you'll clean the back side too. I just simply took a shot, because this one's not that dirty. Yours could be muddy or yucky because the filter hasn't been changed in a while. You want to change the filter regularly to keep the dirt out of there, because you don't want dirt in there. This is something that needs to be fairly clean to keep your filter clean so that you can keep your carburetor clean. The more times you clean out your air filter, the less gunk and dirt that's going to get inside your carburetor. All right, we got that clean. I'm going to put that over there. Okay, so next, what we're going to do here is we're going to remove this gas tank. So what you do is there's a clip right here, and there's a clip over here. What you simply do is just pick up. Well, I meant to show you this hook right here. So here's the hook. Let me see if you can see that in there. Yes, you can. So right here's the hook. This hook goes in this hole right here. So if you were to push up on here with your thumb, you can break that off fairly easy. Depending on how old your mower is, but you push up on here, pull up on the back at the same time, and just lightly rock it back and forth until it pops out. Otherwise, you'll have to take off this sticker, which you can do with a heat gun. Just lightly put a heat gun back and forth. It'll loosen up the glue. You can get a plastic putty knife and get underneath this sticker right here. And then when you go to reapply it, if the stickiness is not sticky anymore, you can take the heat gun or a hair dryer on hot or warm heat, and you can re-stick it down by using that heat. So, okay, let's move on here. We'll quickly check his oil to see how his oil, if it's full. And so let me stick it, oops, got a hair on there. Let me stick it back down in there. See where it is, because this is a fairly new mower. Hasn't been, see there you can see the oil is right there on full on the dipstick. So I'm going to stick that back in there. And it's clean. He didn't use the mower but maybe once or twice, he said. So basically all I'm doing is just trying to get it running for him, because it's just been sitting up. Now these plastic carburetors normally don't corrode that bad. So what I'm going to do is, I'm thinking it's going to be fairly clean. It's probably just got dirty gas in it. So I'm going to, let's see, I was going to show you here. You got to pull up on these tanks here. They get stuck on there sometimes. Let me see how this one's attached. It might have a nut in it. Let's see. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Alright, let's see. Okay. It does not. But it's getting caught, I think, on the shroud. So let me see if I can pull it off of there. Nope, we can't pull it off. We're going to have to take this cover off. Okay, so these are probably going to be 8mm, because that's what the other ones were, which I think are about the same size. Let me see here. Yes, these top bolts. There's let's see, there's 3 of them. This holds a shroud where you pull your start pull cord. So I'm just going to simply put this in my impact. I'm just going to take out these real quick. There's 3 of them, and they're 8mm. They're all the same, so you don't have to worry about getting mixed up. This is what they look like. I'm just going to drop them in there. We're going to need to clean this too. Put my brush away too quickly here. This is the cover that goes over your air filter. Looks like this. You'll just want to lightly brush it out. It doesn't. If yours is really, really dirty, you're going to want to clean it, because this is where your air filter goes. This one's not that dirty. Like I said, the mower's fairly new. So I'm just going to clean that like so. That's clean now. Get some of this gunk out of here. I don't want that dirt down there getting in my carburetor. Alright. So now what we're going to do, we've got to take this shroud off. It'll just pop right off like so. There you have it. Right over there. Alright, now you'll be able to pull the gas tank off real easy. Let me see if you can see. Okay. So you just pull it right up. So that shroud will hold it on there. Now, once you get down here, I'm going to pull on this fuel hose to get it off so that we don't throw fuel all over the place. It's on there a little bit, so you might need to grab a pair of pliers. But I'm just going to simply try to keep pulling on it until it comes off here. Alright, that's not working too well, so I need to drain this fuel. I use an old Aero bucket, so I'm just going to open it up here and drain out the excess fuel here so that we don't get it. It's all yellow and yucky. It's just old. I'm going to drain it all into here so don't spill it all over the mower. Alright, there we go. Slide that over there. Put my cap back on. It's pretty much empty now. It's got a little bit in it, but not much. Now I'm going to use a screwdriver here. Use like a big screwdriver. You can use a pliers, but in this case I think a screwdriver might work a little easier. Just simply pry around the lip of the carburetor and on the side of the hose there, and just lightly, as you pull and push with the screwdriver and pull with your hand, you can lightly pull it off without damaging it. Alright, here it's coming right off. Just wiggle a little bit. Might have to push on a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Popped right off. And you just pop it off like so. Real easy. Not too hard. Anybody can do it. Alright. So the hose on this one looks really good. Nothing looks damaged. Let me check out inside the tank. I think, whoop, we're dumping on the floor. So bring our little bucket over here. I'm going to pour it down in there. So what I'm going to do is dump the rest of that in there. It's probably a good idea to take you some carburetor cleaner, is what I usually do. Oops, see, there's some water in there. I don't know if you see there, if you can see it close up. Let's see. There's some yellow, there you go. See that yellow debris floating down in there? We're going to want to get all that out. Just shake your tank around like so. Get all that gunk out of there. It's had probably some water in there. It's probably what's caused a little bit of those floaters. Dirty floaters. So what I'm going to do is take some carburetor cleaner. I'm going to spray in there. Get all that gunk. See it coming out of the hose there? Just want to get all that gunk out of there. Wash around the top. I got quite a bit of fluid in there, but we need to get all that gunk out of the tank, because you don't want that in there. Alright, then down inside the tank, you can't see it, and I can't show you what it looks like because I don't have a camera to fit down through the hole. But there's a filter in there, a metal or screen filter. So you want to take your carburetor cleaner and spray down, put the hose all the way down in there and spray in there. There's all kinds of gunk around that filter. So you're going to want to spray that and clean it up. Then let all the carburetor stuff. Now that's looking really clean in there now. Let all that come wash through the hose and get it all out of there. Best you can. That's what the screen's there for. It's basically an in-tank fuel filter. And it'll keep all that out of your fuel so don't get into your carburetor, which is really good. Some of these tanks come with that, others don't. That looks really clean now. And also what it does is you get too much gunk around there, it blocks the fuel flow, and the fuel won't come out of the tank, which causes it to spit and sputter because it's starving from fuel. It's not getting enough fuel. So now that we got that cleaned out, I can look down in here, and I probably need to clean the top of the spout a little bit. It's got some grass clippings on there. I gotta get all that off there. There we go, get that cleaned up. Alright, now that I look down in there, I don't know if you can see, but it looks pretty clean. The light's not too good right there, but it's nice and shiny in there. Alright, so I'm just gonna simply take you don't really want to, I'm still dumping some carburetor cleaner out there all over the floor. So what's the nice thing about having a shop, you don't have to worry about, it's not like carpeting your house. Then for the lid, you don't want to get carburetor cleaner on the lid because it's got a gasket, rubber O-ring. That carburetor cleaner will dry that thing out, and you don't want that. So what I do is just take a paper towel, and just a shop towel or whatever, and just simply, You know, I use blue shop towels because blue shop towels don't have a whole lot of dust and like the normal kind of dust like you'd have on a normal paper towel in the house. So, because you don't want all those fine fragments of, you know, paper towel dust all over your components, especially your carburetor, because that will clog it up. So I like shop towels, or they got white ones, blue ones, just depending on what you have. You know, they're not too expensive and they last a long time. I sometimes dig them out of the trash and use it to absorb gas on my table or something like that, so I can use them for more absorption. Oh, see, now that's got trash down there because I was... There you go. There's some gunk that's in the tank. I'll show you on my finger. Here, see that gunky goo? That's what I was talking about. I don't know what it is. It's probably ethanol. Ethanol is corn, and that's a lot like what that looks like. And you don't like... That's why I don't... I mean, I do use ethanol gas, but I also... I put 50 to 1... Or actually, I put a little bit of... mixed two-stroke oil like you put in your weed whacker or your chainsaw or whatnot. That's what I put in my gas. I put steel chainsaw two-stroke oil, and I'll put 50 to 1, and I'll mix it up in a can, and I'll burn that 50 to 1 in my push mowers. You don't really want to put it in a yard tractor because it's got a pump. It doesn't pump the oil, the thickness of the oil that well. But you can pour a little bit in there, mix it up with a lot of gas. That way there's a little bit of oil in there. And that'll keep the ethanol from eating away at your aluminum carburetors. This is a plastic carburetor, but it's still got brass parts in there. And that oil will keep the ethanol from sticking to your brass parts as well, and your jets and all that inside your carburetor. So it's always good to pour a little bit in there, not a lot. Just if you put like 50 to 1 mixture and, you know, 2 gallons of gas or 1 gallon of gas, pour a little bit of your weed whacker. Doesn't have to be 50 to 1 as long as there's oil in there. So figure like a weed whacker, you could just pour a little bit in your mower, maybe like a half a cup, and then fill it up with fuel, and boom, you're good. That it'll keep that ethanol from ruining your carburetors. And also remember to keep your air filter, which on this mower, this is the air filter. Keep that clean. Put a little bit of oil, 2-stroke oil in your gas, not regular oil, but 2-stroke oil, and that'll keep your the ethanol from eating your carburetor. See, a lot of technicians don't tell you to do that. They won't tell you. They want you to break down so that you can bring your mower to them so that you have more problems. I have mowers that are 25, 28 years old, and I've never cleaned the carburetors, and they run perfectly. Alright, so now what we're going to do is take this carburetor off. So let me see if I can get a good blow up. I got a good blow up view. Let me get a little bit closer here. Alright. So this linkage on the top, you're going to want to take that out. So all you do is you pull it out. This one you don't have to unbolt because it's already basically unbolted. It's just, it doesn't have any bolts there. So the linkage on the back, which is your throttle linkage, you'll just want to simply just easily pop it out. Don't force it because it's plastic. Just pop it out like so. See, it's got an L on it, and it goes right in here. And then this spring will stay there. This is your tensioner spring for your throttle, and also your, not for your throttle, but for your choke. This goes to the choke mechanism. It's a little hole on the top. There it is right there. And so that will just lay down there. Now this is not too dirty. I usually use Q-tips, and I'll stick a Q-tip in here and just clean inside of where the fuel port goes for the carburetor. I'll just move it all around like so. And this one's not that dirty, just a little bit of dust in there. Then I wipe it on the outside to clean the debris off the outside too. Because when we put it back together, you don't want to get that inside your carburetor. This one's just a little dirty, dusty. It probably got into some kind of a tree or something in his yard. It's a little messy. So we'll just stick that over there, throw this away. Alright, so basically what I need to do is take the carburetor all apart and clean it out real good. These screws down here, let's see, I think these are probably, nope, there's 7, so we'll take this out. And let's see. That's going to be a 7mm. So the bolts on the bottom of the bowl are 7mm. And so what I like to do is take a screwdriver and mark so that we get it together right where we got it. So right about here, I'm going to mark a little line right there and a little line right here. And when you spray with carburetor cleaner, those lines are going to still be there, like so. You got your line here and line there. That's so that you can put your bowl, the carburetor bowl here, back together in the same exact spot. Now I'm going to, before I do that, I almost forgot a step here. So I have a bolt, basically a bolt, here it is right here, that I've picked up that just fits the bottom of the bowl. So this is the bottom bowl. It fits in there perfectly. And what I do is take some vice grips and what I do is I just hook onto there. Alright, like so. Let me see if I can adjust it a little bit out. I put it around here, just clip it on there. Oh, that's still too hard. Alright, I just clip it on there like so, to where it's tight, and then I turn it. See, I'm turning it, and it loosens up. Oh, we're dumping out gas. Let me dump that in there. There's some old yellow gas in the carburetor. See, we're draining out here. Yep, still draining out. You don't want to dump that gas out unless you want it all over you. In this case, I got a shop in here and it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I'm going to take this and just screw out this piece. Now that it's loose, I just simply pop it out like so. There we go. Got my fingernails in there. Alright. Probably gonna have to get my screwdriver under there. There we go. Just popped right out. It's just to let the fuel out of the bottom of the carburetor, which I'm still dumping all over my floor, which doesn't matter because in this case, still dump it down in there. It's all yellow gas. I know exactly what's wrong with this one. This one's not that bad. I had another video that had one that was the carburetor was just eating up really bad. So this one's being plastic. It's not so bad. But at any rate, so I take that plug out. I got a little, I'm going to use this paper towel. I'm going to use another paper towel here. We'll just put this down here on top of this. Put that over there. I should pick this up over here. So I got something to work on this workbench. Push all that over there. Put my paper towel down here. I'm going to show you, get a blow-up view here, make sure y'all can see. Alright. I use a lot of paper towels sometimes. Sometimes you just have to. Otherwise, you just get a mess everywhere. Okay. Let me give you a bigger blow-up view here. You can see what I'm doing here. Alright, so simply all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this carburetor apart. So I got my container right here. I'm going to take the carburetor cleaner and I'm going to spray it, even though we're spraying that seal, but we have to spray it to clean out all the bad gas. And then I'm going to damp it down with a cloth like so. I keep oil over here just for this reason. You don't want to dry out this rubber. Very important. If you get a little bit of oil, I got some oil right here. Now I'll dump it in this lid right here, like so. Like that. And I'll just simply take my finger and just wipe it all around that rubber seal. It doesn't have to be real thick, just get it all over itself. That's not going to hurt anything when we go to put it back in. It'll be perfectly fine. So we'll just lay that right there. Can't be afraid to get dirty with this kind of stuff. Now, I don't know, more than half of you out there probably give you a good excuse to get all dirty. This is the perfect way to do it. So I'll just dump that excess oil back in my container here. We don't need that no more. It's not going to all come out of there because it's a pretty thick oil. It's like a 15W50, so it's real thick. But in this case, it doesn't matter what kind of oil you use as long as it's oil. So I'll put that back on there. We're done with that for now. We'll probably need it again here. We don't want to put it on this seal because this seal here, it may swell up and we don't want that to swell up. So we'll just wipe that off with a towel. So now what we're going to do, I'm just going to, still got a lot of gas coming out of there for some reason. Can't seem to get it all out of there. Usually it just comes right out right when you take it off, but the bowl's still on there, so that's why we're still getting a bunch of gunk. So I'm going to take this one out here because we're not going to want to get carburetor cleaner on this particular seal here. You might have to take a screwdriver like I'm doing and just simply, really easy, just pop it out like so. There it is, popped out. I'm not going to take carburetor and clean it because you don't want to get carburetor cleaner on this. It will dry it out and it'll break and crack. These are kind of expensive, so if you can save what you got on your other ones. A lot of times the mower repair shops will put in all brand new kits of rubbers and stuff. You don't really need it unless it's breaking and falling apart. You can use it many times over. They make more money by replacing all your parts over and over, which you don't need to do. I've been doing this for years, and you don't need to replace them if they're not bad. This one's perfectly good, as you can see. It's not broken, cracked, or anything falling apart. If yours is, you may want to get a new one. You can get on eBay or Amazon and get a new one. Just make sure looks exactly like this. I'm just going to put that over there. I think I'm going to grab another paper towel here because this one's gotten pretty covered with fuel. All right. I usually have a really big workspace, but unfortunately with the mower up there, I'm going to use this chair here. Put my parts down here so they don't get all dirty. You don't want your parts all dirty, the clean ones. I put that there. This is nice and clean. Put that down there. All right, now we're going to use our 8mm, and we're going to take the bottom right here off. Simply just going to take it undone there. Take it undone there. Put that over here. These are going to both be the same size. You're not going to have to worry about that. I'm going to put that on this part right there. Oops, let me make sure you can still see me good over here. Oh yeah, perfect. All right, we're just going to put these. All right, let me see. Where's my toothbrush? I put it away, I think. These don't really matter if there's dirt on them, but I just like to clean them just so I don't get that dirt in the carburetor when I put it all back together. Go ahead and clean this with the toothbrush. All right. So now what we're going to want to do is just pull this cover off and just kind of, there we go. Just pry against it a little bit, it'll pop off. Now this seal, rubber seal here, once you spray a little carburetor cleaner on it, you're going to want to put oil on it right away. I probably put my oil away too fast, so I'm going to quickly take it back out here and be prepared to wipe it around there so that it doesn't get all dry. We don't want it dry. We got to have that seal. Very important that you keep this seal from getting dry and cracked, because this seals your fuel, and that fuel will dump out of there. So we'll grab our bucket here to wash off the things. I'm just going to take my carburetor cleaner, Spray in there real good to clean all that gunk, all that dirt and old residue. Get it all nice and clean, like so. Alright, gotta grab another towel because I got that one down there all dirty again. So I'm gonna wipe this off with a clean towel, get it all nice and clean. Wipe on the inside, get that nice and clean. The plastic ones are real easy. I don't like them particularly. I like the other ones different, but they started making these plastic ones. They're all right. You know, they're easier to clean. They're not as hard as the aluminum ones because you got all the ports and everything. Of course, you do have ports on these too. All right, so that's all nice and clean as you see. So I'm going to put that down here with the clean parts. We can go ahead and put this piece back in if you want. But before I do that, I'm going to take a little bit of oil and put it around this seal so that it makes sure that that carburetor cleaner didn't dry it out. We're going to want to keep that moist. I'm just going to spread it all around there. This is not going to hurt your mower. The little bit of oil in there is not going to hurt it at all. So get it good, nice and wet. All right, it's ready to be put back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this plug right here back in. So I'm just going to simply put it back in there. Use my little contraption here with the bolt. I don't know what size that is. Let me see if I can find out what size that is real quick so that y'all can get the same kind of nut or bolt. So it'd make your job a little bit easier. It might be a 13 millimeter. Nope. All right, let's see here. Nope, not that one. Oh, I should have picked up that one the first time. So it is a 10 millimeter is what the size of this nut is. So if you go to the parts store, you can tell them I need a 10 millimeter nut, or let's just put bolt. So you can use the head to take this nut, this head out of here, which is a 10 millimeter. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is use my nut here and just tighten, just lightly, it clips into place. It just pops right in that groove. It's real easy. Can't mess it up. You don't want to over tighten it, but it just pops right in that groove real easy. That's tight. This is kind of like a gas cap on your car. It only goes in one pop or two pops and you're done. You don't need to, it's no really way you can strip it, so you don't have to worry about that. Real easy. It pops in real easy. And then I'll just put that back away because we won't need that for the rest of the job. That's the only thing we need it for. And then, alright, got my fingers all oily here. Okay, so we're done with the oil now. I don't have anything else to oil. So we're just going to dump that back in there. In this case, I'll just screw it back on because it's all I use it for, is just for gaskets and stuff, seals. All right, so now when you get here, this is going to be real simple. It's not like an aluminum one. It's quite a bit different. So what I'm gonna do is take some carburetor cleaner here. I'm gonna spray all this gunk off the outside so it don't get inside the carburetor. Get it all nice and clean. Doesn't take a whole lot. This one's got hair probably from a dog or something all over it. I don't want to get that hair inside the carburetor when I go to clean the whole thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this carburetor cleaner and I'm going to show you up here, see if you can get a good view of what I'm doing. So you're going to want to spray it. Well, first of all, we're going to want to take this pin out. There's a pin right here. Just pop that pin out. What you can do is just take your screwdriver. Just remember it's plastic. Just take that pin and put it right under there. Just lightly pop it up. Boom. See, it's popped up. And once you get it popped up, you come to the other side. You lightly push up on that until it pops out. Then you can lift out the float. This is the fuel float. On the bottom of the fuel float, there's a fuel, well, it's just it's a little pin. It goes with the fuel filter. It slides right in this groove right here. There's a groove right here. It goes right in that groove. See how there's a groove? it just slides right in there, and that's where it goes, right there. That's where you want it when you put it back in there. This little rubber piece goes down in the hole back here, and I'll show you. So it goes right down here in this hole right here, and there's a brass fitting, brass thing down there, and that rubber piece is where the fuel goes in and out. That's where the fuel goes in and out. So this little aluminum piece here. Now, if you had a kit for the whole carburetor, it comes with the kit, and you take that off by prying a screwdriver underneath the hole right here and just pop it out. Now, dirt and stuff will get stuck under there. If your mower is going like rah, 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 like that, this means this is plugged up. So what I do is I just spray carburetor cleaner down in there, and just put the hose on your carburetor can there, carburetor cleaner can. You'll want to spray up in that hole. You want to spray, you'll turn this lever here, you'll spray all up in here, make sure that hole right there, that's a jet, make sure that's good and clean. You don't need to spray down in here, there's nothing down in there. On some of them, like the aluminum ones, you would pull all this out because there'd be jets down there. On the plastic one, there are no jets down there. This is a jet hole here, so you're going to make sure that's clean. Make sure it's really clean. And then you'll stick the straw of your can down in here. You'll spray down in there. Hold it kind of tight in there and just let it blast with full fluid. Same as in this hole right here. And then you'll do it inside here. Clean all that real good. There's a hole down in here. You'll hold that open. This is a screw hole. You don't have to worry about that. Right here is a jet hole. Right here is a jet hole. Spray all this real good, and then come to this side, spray all up in there, turn this back so you can get down in there, spray it real good. Once you get everything nice and clean, then we'll do it together. I'll go ahead and do mine, you do yours now, and just for the sake of time on the video, I'll do mine and you'll do yours, then we'll come back and show you how clean it's supposed to be. Alright, we are back. This is what it should look like on the inside. Now, when you spray down here with the hose, fuel, the carburetor cleaner is going to come out this hole, which is the fuel line hose. Fuel comes in here, goes in here with the needle valve, which is that little pin that sticks down below the float that I showed you. That's the needle valve. Well, it's like a needle valve. I can't remember the exact term, but that's where the fluid flows when it comes in and out. That little rubber on the end of that needs to be cleaned. You'll want to clean the float. You'll want to clean this, the little rubber. Just be careful that the rubber doesn't come off. You need that rubber on there so it makes a good seal so that when the fuel goes through, it'll be seated properly, and it will allow the amount of fluid to go fuel to go through. This is your fuel float. Make sure it's all nice and clean. Get all that yellow residue. I haven't cleaned mine yet. Get all that yellow residue off of there. You can do that with the carburetor cleaner only, and maybe even a toothbrush. Scrub it. So, I still got a little bit of dirt in there. Let me spray that off of there. Alright, got that out. I think when I sprayed the outside, I got a little back on the inside again. So, alright, so now you shake it, you do whatever you have to get that fluid out. It doesn't matter if there's carburetor fluid in there. Gas mixes good with carburetor fluid. It's not going to hurt anything. Once you get all your ports nice and clean like so, they're all shiny again. Now, when you spray in the port inside the choke side, when you pull this lever back here, you'll have fuel dumping out through that center. I don't know if you can see it. There's a center. See that white piece sticking up in the center there? You'll have... when you spray down here, you'll have carburetor cleaners coming up through all those holes. When they come out freely and everything's nice and clean like this one is, then you're good to go. It's ready to go. Now you're ready to assemble it and put it back together. So what we're going to do, I'm going to clean my float here real quick. And then I'll do that, and you can do yours if you haven't done it already. Okay, as we reassemble, this is your float pin here. So what you want to do is, once your float is all nice and clean like this one, all nice and white, get all the gook and residue off of it. Okay, you're going to want to put this back in here. What I like to do is I like to tilt it back like this. Just slide it in there like so. Just slide it right in there. I'll keep it tilted back so it doesn't fall out. Then when I come back over here, let me put this container up here. I get my little pin right here. We'll move that over there. So here's my pin. This pin, well, let me turn this around so you can see. Let me hold it in this fingers. This pin goes right in this hole right here. There we go. The hole right, well, can't see it here. Okay, trying to get a good picture here. Okay, you see that hole right there? That pin goes right in that hole. So you'll want to go ahead and slide it in that hole. Keep it tilted back like so that it doesn't fall out. You'll turn it around like so. Then you get this, and you'll want to drop. Let me see if you can see it in the picture. You'll want to drop that needle valve right down in that hole right here. So just be careful. Put it right down in there like so. See how it's in there? And then you just pop that down with this your thumb. Just pop it right in. You'll hear it. Click. And then you'll let go of the float because it's inside the bowl container. Now it's good. Then you push down on that, right on the pin. Now on mine, I can't get mine in. So what I'm going to do is take my screwdriver. My thumb's just kind of big. And I'm going to take my screwdriver and put it right on the edge, right on the top of the pin, right here. And just push straight down. Well, hard to do what I'm trying to show you on the camera. But you're going to push right on top of the pin. Pop. Popped right in. And there you have it. Equal distance of the pin on both sides of where it pops in. And then you can see the float moves up and down perfectly good. Just like that. If you look under here, you can see your pin is right in there. See it? It's right in there. It moves freely. If that is not in there like that, then it's not going to work properly. So make sure it gets in there properly. All right. Now we're going to put the bottom of the bowl back on the carburetor here. So here's the bowl cover. Remember you taking the lines and cutting a groove in there. So I'm going to look on here. Here's my line right here. There's my line. So I'm going to take my line from over here. I'm going to find it on my outside my bowl here. Blow a little dust got in there and blow that out. Alright, I'm looking for my line. Let me locate my line. I seem to have misplaced it here. Let me see where it is. Feel with my finger. I got oil on it. Can't see it. Alright, okay, here it is. I found it. Alright. So you take the two lines, you see the two lines, there's my line, you see it, it's right here, right there, with my finger, I'm tapping on it. And I'm just going to put it right back together with that line. Get it lined up with the screw holes over here. Push it down in there, it goes in kind of snug. Remember we got oil on it, so it's going to go in real snug, like so. Now if it doesn't line up perfectly, you can turn it like so, till you get the holes lined up perfectly. Alright, this one's a little off, so I'm going to push that one over with my finger. Alright. I'll push it just a little bit more. Oop, too much. I pushed mine too far. I gotta push it back. There we go. Alright, so it should look something like this. Perfectly lined up holes. Then, I'm going to take my screws right here, just put it back in the hole, put this one back in the hole. Now I don't like to tighten it back up using the impact because you don't want to over tighten it because it's plastic. And in the same way, if you were doing it in aluminum, you can strip it out real easily. So what I do is just use a nut driver on the end of the socket. I'll just screw it in like so. I'll give it right where it just sits down on top of it, nice and snug. And I'll give it just a little bit of a turn. Just a little bit. Just a smidgen. Not a 16th of an inch. Not even half of a 16th of an inch. Just enough to snug it up. Doesn't have to be super tight. They're not going to fall out. And then it's good to go. Now, what I'm going to do is, let me see if you can still see in here. Alright, now we're going to take our little rubber seal here, and we're going to put it right back on. Oh, let me see here. I need to spray that again a little bit. My tab here. There we go. I saw a little bit of residue in there probably when I was spraying off the cover. Alright, so I'm going to take my towel. Remember I told you we don't need carburetor cleaner. I'm going to take a clean towel and just dab on here and soak up all that carburetor cleaner I just sprayed in there. Yours would have been dry already, but I had to respray mine because I got a little bit of dirt on the flap here. You don't want dirt on the flap when you go to put it back together. Make sure all that's clean in there or it's not going to work properly. This is a very crucial part to your mower running perfectly good. So get that all dry out of there like so. Alright. I need a little bit of a Q-tip in here. I still got some ethanol residue in there, I see. Try to get out. Sometimes the spray doesn't get it out perfectly, but it'll get it out good enough. Just take a Q-tip like so. Just wipe down in there. Get all that yellow residue off. I got a little bit in here. It is dried, and it's not really dry, just a little crusty. But sometimes that happens. It's just a residue. That's why I use Q-tips, as they can get down in there and clean it out real good. You might have to do the same to yours. But it's just good to get it nice and clean in there, which is what I'm doing. Sometimes you can soak this Q-tip in carburetor cleaner and you can wipe it out a little bit easier. But mine's still got a little bit of carburetor cleaner down there because I just sprayed it a second ago. Alright, get that all nice and clean like we did. Use it in here too because there's a little bit of residue around where the seal goes. Alright, now that I got that clean, I'm going to put my seal back in. Don't put oil on this because it'll make it swell and then you won't be able to get it back in here. It'll want to pop out. It won't fit in there perfectly. So you fit in there just like that, just like so. Everything's good. You got this tightened down here. You got these tightened here. You got that. All this is clean. So now, don't forget, if this little white plastic piece will pop out sometimes, make sure it's in there because that's what gives you a seal when you put it back right here. Some of them have black rubbers, but on this one, it's just a hard piece of plastic. Now what you want to do is, oops, still some dog hair on there. Now what you want to do is we want to put the linkages back in. So you're going to put this linkage in first, the big one. It goes right here in the back. Just going to L pop it in there like so. Just pop straight down, just like as easy as can be. This one right here goes on the little one. You'll just pop it right in there. Just so easy. Pop it down in there. Let's see here. A little bit of a, there we go. Pop it right in. Try not to bend these, just put them in real easy. Then, then you'll just slide it down in the groove down here. Just push it all the way down to the bottom. You'll have this little notch sticking out here. This goes right in that groove real easy. And it lines up with that tube in the back and you just push it right on there real easy. There you go. You push it all the way in snug until it's got a nice tight fit. It'll just sit there and it'll work perfectly. All right, next we're going to take and put our plastic shroud back on. Now if your flywheel right here is dirty, just take a wire brush like these. You can get them at Harbor Freight. They make the little bitty ones that come about right here, and then they make the long ones. you can get down here. You can clean the metal on around the flywheel. Just get it real nice and clean. A lot of them get really rusty. You want all that, clean all that rust off, because this is your coil. Your coil can't make a good spark to the spark plug if this is all rusty around here. So you want to clean that up with a wire brush and get it all nice and clean. This one is almost a brand new mower, so it doesn't need any of that. It hasn't even come close to getting dirty yet. So now what we're going to do, we want to keep that clean, but we gotta get the gas tank and all that back on. So before you put the cover, this plastic cover back on, you're gonna want to put the gas tank on. So we're just gonna simply, all right, let's see. Did that pull out of there? Hopefully not. Nope, it's still in there. Okay. All right. You're just going to simply pop that on there, really easy. It'll pop right on there. You might have to use your fingers down underneath and push it on. And then you're going to want to take your pliers. Where's mine? Right here. You got that little clip. I'm going to put that over there. The clip that seals your gas line off here. So you want to take your pliers and squeeze down the 3 prongs. You'll slide it back over till you're about 1/16 of an inch from the edge of the hose. And just let it go right there. That'll keep it sealed. Then you're going to come up here. You got these prongs. You got a hole here and a hole on this side. You got these right here. They just slide over that. Real easy. Pop it all the way down till you hear it pop. Then you're going to take your plastic cover, top right here, and you're going to put it back over it to where it fits over the shroud here, the little metal shroud. On top of that, it'll click in. It only goes in one way. Then you're going to take your screws here, which I believe were the 8s, I believe. So let me grab the 8mm. Yep, they're the 8s. And I'll use my nut driver handle here. You'll just drop the screws. You can just drop them right down into the holes. They're going to go down so far. Put that one in there. This one over here. Take your nut driver. Just screw them right down in. And this side. Get them started with this. Some of them go down real snug. These are going down pretty snug. So I'm going to have to use my ratchet on that one. Alright. Like I said, I don't use the impact on these for a reason, because it can strip them out real easy. You're only going into plastic, so you got to be real easy with it. So there we go. Alright, now that you got them all in, when you get them into plastic, remember, just give them just a little bit of a turn. Maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe half of a 1/16 of an inch. Just to where it's snug, and then give it just a pinch more. Okay, this is all on now. They're all good and tight. I already checked them. Alright. Now, we're going to go ahead and put the shroud on, because we can still put the carburetor and everything together. You know what, I'm going to leave that off for now. I'm going to go ahead and put my carburetor covers back on and everything. So this piece here, this is what you want to go on next. This goes on the back. Now this little port right here, right here goes on this hose right here. So what we want to do is you just pop it on that hose, like so. Push it on there. There's a prong back there that keeps it from going on all the way. And then, so you got little tabs that stick out. Let me show you that first. These little tabs right here, right there, go right in these holes. One there and one over here. So once you push it on there, that's so you get it all lined up properly. Sometimes your hose will want to fall off, so you just push it right back on. Well, you know, this one's not fitting properly. Hold on a second. Let me figure out what's going on here. Okay, very important step. When I put the linkage back on the carburetor, this hose was tucked under the breather hose that goes to the valves. Was underneath the linkage. So you want to make sure, when you look under here, you want to make sure that the hose is above the linkage, okay? So that when you put this back on, this hose is above the linkage, the long linkage that goes all the way across. This is the linkage here, but the long one that goes all the way back, make sure the hose is on top of that linkage. When you go to pop it back on, it'll be perfect. Put the prongs in the holes back here. The hose will stay on there fine. Then we take our screws over here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and grab both of them here. So you got your 8mm and your 7mm. Remember, the 7 go on the bottom and the 8 go on the top. So I'm going to take my socket extension here and the bit. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'm going to put these in first. Oh, we'll put the big ones in first. I'm just going to pop it in there. Oh, and roll out. They got some. That pet hair gets everywhere. They must have dogs. And we'll put it in there. And we'll put that in there like so. Then we'll put this one on the other side. Remember, they go on the top. Now it's plastic and it's going into metal in the back, but you still don't want to over tighten it. So I'm going to take my ratchet. I'm just going to lightly tap, screw them in here. Alright, this is where I can take my nut driver. Pop it on there. Go in a little bit faster. So it's nice to just make it snug. That one's snug. This one's snug. Then you want to give it just a smidgen. Not very tight. It is metal, but it'll strip. Just give it a good squeeze and turn. Even with your ratchet, you can do that. Just give it a slight, like a 1/2 of a 1/16 of a turn or less. It's plenty strong there. Then we'll turn around and do our 7s. Put them on right here. This is going into plastic because it's going into the carburetor. You don't need to snug that very tight. Matter of fact, you can just snug it up just with the just give it just a little snug. Just to where it gets to where it's touching firmly. Just give it just a small little snug. Sometimes you gotta push in to get the screws started, which is what mine did. And then these will not vibrate out once you get them a little snug right to where right there is about done. And I'm gonna turn it just a boop little bit, just snug it up, and they're not gonna come out as plastic. All right, I see there's a little bit of dust down in there again. I'm going to take a Q-tip and lightly wipe this down. As I got there's a little dust down there, probably when I was spraying off this mower is very dusty on the outside. And I think when it was sitting over there on the side when I was cleaning the mower, it got some dust when I was blowing it off the mower. I'm just going to take a Q-tip, wipe down there a little bit, get that nice and clean. Get that dust off there. You don't really want that dust in the carburetor, because you remember the carburetor needs to stay really clean in there. Alright. Got all that out of there. See how it's a little bit on the Q-tip there, a little dark. Got all that out. Alright. Now, we're going to put our filter back on, which is right here. Alright. You're just going to pop it on there. And I'm not a big fan of these tight filters because they leak dust around them. They're not a very good tight filter. But that's what this mower came with, so that's what we're going to put back on there. That's the only thing we can put on there. Alright, this is nice and clean. We're going to put that back on there. So, got tabs right here. These tabs go on the bottom of beneath the filter. Make sure you get them down in there. And then this top just pops over. Pops right on there. That's on there. Now we're going to put the shroud back on. Like so. Make sure you put it over the oil dipstick. Make sure your holes are lined up. Then I got my hex head here. I don't have a nut driver screwdriver here and here, so I'm just going to have to use the impact. But you can use just a regular screw head extension on there. Matter of fact, you know, I probably do have I can probably use a socket to do that. Let's see. We can get a socket that will fit this little shaft here, which it looks like it might be. Let's see here. All right, it is a 7mm. So we'll just pop that on there, the nut driver, over this on the 7, and use this as a screwdriver now for the hex screws. We're just gonna pop one down in there, one over here. Stick our adapter on there with the screwdriver head and just turn it. Well, that's not gonna fit. It looked like it was gonna fit, but it's not fitting. It's probably standard. Now why they do that, I don't know. But they use standard and metric together all the time. It's kind of nutty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in my standard set here and find the right size, the perfect fit for that one. Which it looks like it is a 1/4 inch. There you go. It's a 1/4 inch. So since that's the same size, I'm just going to put that on there. Now I can use this to put it in there perfectly. Put that all down in there. It's got quite a few threads on it, so it'll take a couple seconds to get it tightened up. Then I'm going to turn that in there like so. Get that all nice and tight. And there we go. This one's tight too. Perfect. We are done with this mower. All I gotta do is put gas in it. I have actually run out of gas, so I can't actually do it right now. But I'm going to conclude this video. This is a fix. It will run, and believe me, trust me, it will run perfectly fine. And yours will run good too, as long as you follow the steps and got it all nice and clean. It should be just as good too. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And stay tuned to more videos to come. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe, which will help me put out more videos, you could subscribe. It's no cost to you. Thank you for watching.